question is regarding Ted Weschler. Can you please share your views regarding his investment philosophy, his investment process, and the qualities that he brings to Berkshire?
Yeah, both Ted and Todd, the two investment managers, aside from myself at Berkshire, are very, very smart about businesses and investments. I mean, they understand the reality of business operations. They understand what makes for competitive strength and all of the things that you'd learn in business school or learn through investing. And on top of that, they have qualities of character which are terribly important to me and Charlie. We have seen dozens and dozens and dozens of investment managers with great records over the years. We used to drop in and see some of those guys, that were running. I'm talking back in the 1960s and 70s. And when I gave up my partnership, I knew probably 20 people with great records from the previous 6 or 8 years. But I picked Bill Ruane to handle the funds of my partners going forward. And he set up a fund called Sequoia Fund, and 10,000 put in that fund has become over $4 million now. Well, Bill was a terrific investment manager, but he was a terrific human being. And we really want people where they do more than their share, where they don't claim credit for things they don't do, where they just every aspect of their personality is such that you want to be around them and you want to hand responsibility over to them. And Ted and Todd fit that bill, and there's plenty of investment managers in Wall Street with great records that don't fit that bill in our view. So that's about all I can tell you. Charlie met Todd first, I met Ted first, and we both, when we talked about them, we talked about their record and the kind of stocks they own, but we talked a whole lot more about what kind of people they were, and we haven't been disappointed. Charlie?
Yeah, I think the whole thing is working pretty well, and I think those people will be constructive around Berkshire for reasons apart from their expertise in handling securities. In fact, they already are.
Yeah, they already very well.
They have just each one has helped buy a business recently.
Yeah, and they will help oversee it too, the businesses, and they're smart about business. And they know they know the right touch to apply in terms of how much they get involved. I mean, Todd worked on charter brokerage. He worked on an acquisition we made from Phillips. Ted just worked on this operation over in Germany. Went over there a couple of times, and he's just smart. He's got good sense. He knows how to deal with people. If a deal is to be made, he'll get it made. And Charlie and I have run into more dysfunctional people with 160 IQs probably than anybody alive. But Solomon gave us a head start on that, as a matter of fact. Wouldn't you say that?
We've specialized in it.
Yeah.
We have absolutely specialized in it.
Yeah. We have seen, take the Solomon. We have seen a group of people whose IQs far surpass those of the people of Berkshire, and we've seen them self-destruct to make money they didn't need when they were already rich. See, that's madness. But a lot of people are just incapable of functioning well day after day, even though they're capable of brilliance from time to time. And we've got very solid people in Ted and Todd. They're very bright, and they identify with Berkshire and not with themselves, and it's a huge factor over time. Any more, Charlie, on that?
Well, yeah, and the trustworthiness is more important than the brains. Not that they don't have the brains, but we wouldn't hire anybody, no matter how able, if we didn't trust them.
Yeah, very occasionally. Yeah, we'll get disappointed on that occasionally, but not very often. We're approaching noon. We'll come back at 1. I promised 7 years ago I made this bet, which was originally to produce $1 million for the charity of the winner. and another fellow who was in the hedge fund business. I offered this bet to anybody. Only one person took me up on it, and we made this bet where $1 million goes to the winner's charity as to whether a group of 5 hedge funds of funds would beat the S&P Vanguard fund. And my point being that the fees would not be overcome by managerial brilliance, and that the hedge funds would fall short, and the other fellow betting essentially that paying people 2 and 20 and having an override for the fund of funds was nothing to pay for the brilliance of getting Wall Street to manage your money. And I promised that every year I would report the update. And the first year I fell far behind, but we reported it then. So we'll put that slide up. And as you can see, 7 years into it, it's interesting that just buying Vanguard fund, with nothing but putting the S&P 500 in there, is now given a cumulative return of 63.5%, and the hedge funds are at 19%. The interesting thing is, some of that is underperformance, but the hedge fund managers have done very well during that period. If they were managing $1 billion, for example, at 2 and 20, you get $20 million a year just for coming to the office. The hedge funds haven't done bad. The investors in the hedge funds have paid a very big price. And we originally funded this with zero coupon bonds. We each bought about 350,000 of zero coupon bonds that would be worth 500,000 at the end of the period. We converted it to Berkshire Hathaway stock. So a few years ago, the fellow on the other side of the bet did it with me. And so it now looks like the winner will get appreciably more than $1 million. And if you want to entertain yourself, you can go to long bets on search, just put in long bets, and you'll find this organization out in Washington that sort of acts as the stakeholder, sets the rules for these long bets. And now there's hundreds of them up there, and they're on all kinds of predictions. And you can go there, and if you want to disagree with one of the parties on there, you can make these bets that pay off in 50 years or 25 years. It's kind of an interesting site to visit, and people give their arguments on both sides. And so if you don't have anything better to do with your time, go to long bets.